This is Hylton Castle. It is in the northeast of England, and there's the river Wear. And Hylton Castle was already lived in before the William the Conqueror came here, and that was Elfstil or something like that, was a king. And this king also followed, for example, Ethelred, this king. And then came William the Conqueror and asked for help to conquer this year in 1066, and there was given some help from the people who lived here, the Hylton family, 3 of the sons or something. One of them, Lancelot, died in the besiege of London or something, in the help where William the Conqueror besieged London, and out of gratitude William the Conqueror granted then the Hylton family more land here around the river Wear to be barons and to rule over it. And after that there was this castle built shortly after 1066, I think in 1070s or 72 or something like that, firstly out of wood. Then in 1900 and 1350s it was built out of stone as it is right now. And I think already this chapel was already built at that time or something like that in the 14th century. And then there was a poltergeist story in 1600, and I will shortly come back to that. And in 1746 there was no one to inherit this anymore, and so there came Lady Baron, and after her John Baron, and then there came Simon Temple, or Simon Temple came before. At least Simon Temple is the one who made this chapel to be named Saint Catherine Alexandra. And this chapel, there's another story. It was built, and the one who was here was called something like Remulus or something like that, and wanted to make a chapel with somebody who preached there. And he asked them, Durham is somewhere there, just 30 kilometers or something from here, and asked them to make this. And the prior of Durham said, you can do this, but only if some 24 something oats were given for every steer, something like that, with animals and with trading of oats. And also this Remulus or something had to attend the Easter something at Durham, and some festivals at Durham Cathedral had to attend he in return. And then there was, in 1840s, was the thing here a school, and in 1856 there was a fire. After that there was also vandalism, and in 1900 and something some coal fabric came here. There was a lot of coal done here and made all the castle as a coal fabric or something like that. And soon after that there were also Henry Hylton gave it for 99 years to some city, and then the city gave it back to his nephew John Hylton. And also the poltergeist story, in 1600 there was Roger Hylton, and he was the master here, and there was a stable boy also named Roger but Skelton, and Robert Skelton was supposed, and it is maybe a legend, to do the horses ready to be ridden, but he was sleeping, and so Robert Hylton did, it is told so, that he killed him. But in the official guides it is told that maybe that the stable boy just fell down from some high stuff and so died. And there's also a story about that the kitchen chief and his wife or something like that stayed awake in the night and heard then him, Robert Skelton, the poltergeist, returning and saying that the poltergeist, this young stable boy, was naked and was singing a song about that the poltergeist was very cold and somebody should give him a cloak and a cap, and that then this poltergeist would not return anymore and do mischief that he do by replacing stuff, and maybe sometimes he also tidied up stuff, is told. And then this chief, or this kitchen chief, gave some clothes, laid it outside, and a cap, and then it is told that the poltergeist never returned again. So it is It is haunted maybe by Robert Skelton, and after the fire and after the coal mines got here, and after that the cities got together and brought this to the English heritage, so that is today owned by the state and can be visited by people. It is a tea room established there, classrooms are made there. It is made so that people can visit it again. It shall be reminding of the history and of the heritage of England, and so it stands here open for visitors. That is at least a tea room, and this is open on Wednesdays, but not today. It is open. This is the Hylton Castle in north of the River Wear.